Welcome to Unit 6, Section 6, Lesson 1, Video 2, Creating a Table of Values. In this video, we're going to continue with learning how to create a table of values so that we can graph a linear relation. So in the last video, we learned what a linear relation was, and so another example of a linear relation is 3x plus 5. Now in grade 7, we also learned that we can turn any linear relation into an equation for the linear relation by adding an equal sign. So in this example, an equation for the linear relation could be y equals 3x plus 5. And so we're going to create a table of values for this equation. And it's going to be exactly the same process as we did in the previous video, except now we have an equation instead of just a relation. We start with the equation, y equals 3x plus 5. And just like before, we simply substitute x equals -1 in place of x, and we evaluate. So 3 times -1 is -3, and -3 plus 5 equals +2. So the first output, or the first y value in our table, is 2. We'll repeat the process for x equals 0. So 3 times 0 equals 0, and 0 plus 5 equals 5. So the second value for y is 5. We'll repeat it one more time. Y equals 3x plus 5. Substitute x equals 1 into the equation. 3 times 1 equals 3. And 3 plus 5 equals 8. So the third value in the table is y equals 8. Instead of evaluating all of the x values, we can use the pattern that occurs in the table to finish filling out the table. So we can see that it increases from 2 to 5, which is an increase of +3. And in the next two, it increases from 5 to 8, which is also an increase of +3. So if we add 3 onto 8, we get 11. And if we add 3 onto 11, we get 14. And we're going to quickly review the definition of an ordered pair, which we also learned in grade 7. An ordered pair is a related pair of x and y values. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if we look at our table of values, when x is -1, y is 2. So -1, 2 is called an ordered pair for this linear relation. And when we write an ordered pair, the x value always comes first, and the y value is second. And so just like the alphabet, x comes before y, in an ordered pair, x comes before y. Another example of an ordered pair is 3 and 14. We'll do one more example. So we're going to make a table of values for the relation y equals 5 subtract 2x. And here's our table. So we're going to start off with x equals -2 and substitute it into the equation. So 5 subtract 2 times -2, we can think of that as -2 times -2, which is +4. So 5 plus 4 equals 9. Repeat the process and use x equals -1. -2 times -1 equals +2. 5 plus 2 equals 7. And finally, we'll substitute x equals 0. Anything times 0 is just 0. So 5 take away 0 is 5. And so our third y value is 5. Once again, instead of evaluating all of the x values, we can look at the pattern. So to go from 9 down to 7 is a decrease of 2. so it changes by negative 2. From 7 to 5, it decreases by 2, so we add a negative 2 once again. So if we look at the next value, 5 plus negative 2, or 5 subtract 2, is 3. And continuing in the same manner, the next value would be 1 and negative 1. So in this example, two different ordered pairs would be negative 2 and 9, or 3 and negative 1. Please proceed to video 3.